calling this meeting to order at 6:36. Dr. Roach, can I have the roll call, please?
That's funny. Yes. Commissioner Ann Berenson?
Here.
Commissioner Ford?
Here.
Commissioner Francois? I don't think she's here yet. Okay. And Commissioner Schmidt?
Here.
And Chairwoman DeVoe?
Here. Next, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. With that, and in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 231, New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the giving of notice to the Courier News, posting the agenda in the public lobby of the building 48 hours prior to the meeting, delivery of this notice to the Franklin Township Clerk at least 48 hours prior to the meeting, and mailing notice to those persons properly requesting to be mailed notification of meetings at least 48 hours prior to this meeting. With that, do I have a motion to open the meeting for public comments?
So moved.
Motion.
Chairwoman, I believe Joe Danielson was going to give a brief explanation of the rate increase prior to, so the public can weigh in if they want to.
Okay. So we can do the explanation of the rate increase now, and then I'll reopen the meeting for public comments.
Mm-hmm.
Did you already vote to go into public?
We only had we could do the explanation first. We didn't have a second for it yet.
Okay. So the rate increase is being proposed for two basic reasons. One, we have to have a balance of cash versus how much borrowing we do. And, it's a delicate balance at some points. And that is relative to the projected projects we have and their cost. Taking also into account that we have a significant inflation increase. We have a reduction of available labor and our supply chains. The second thing that we have to consider, it's very important, is our bond covenants. So every 3 years, we go through a Moody's rating call where they analyze and assess the authority's financial status and ability to raise money, and most importantly, the ability to repay their money. And they give us these equations of proportionality of our revenue versus our expenditures. Based upon those two, I concur with our auditor and our financial advisor that we need to be at 13% of an increase of our user rate. However, that could be borne out all at once this year or in stages. So I've elected to recommend to the board to do it in 2 stages, 10% this year and at least 3% or more next year. So our user rate, our EDU, if you will, is at $330, and I recommend that we raise it by $33 or 10%. I'm sorry, which is raise it to 363. And that's it in a nutshell.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Joe, for just a brief explanation, this explanation is just for tonight, and then we would actually vote on the rate increase at a different meeting.
No, you would vote on it tonight to be effective November 1st.
Okay.
Well,
Okay. With that, do I have a motion to open the meeting for public comments?
So moved.
And a second?
Second, Ford.
Is there anyone from the public to comment? Seeing none. Do I have a motion to close the meeting for public comments?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Sorry. Roll call, please. I forgot to do that earlier.
Okay. Mr. Van Berenson,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. Brian, do I have to go back and do a roll call for for the motion to open the public meeting?
Yeah, because that was just to open and close the public portion on the rate increase, right? So now we're opening and closing for public comment on generally.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So now we will open for general comments.
Motion to open for general comments.
And a second?
Second.
Is there any general comments?
Yeah, this is Bill from the Franklin Reporter.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good.
Just wondering if you're going to be posting your current budget on the website.
yes.
Yes. Yeah.
When?
Well, it's not current yet until it gets approved.
Okay, so the last time you guys just introduced it, you didn't approve it?
No, we have to introduce it, which was done 2 months ago, and then we adopt it, which is last month. And then after all that process, we send it to the state with the final signed documents by various officials on the board and myself. And then the state auditor then signs it and sends it back to us, and then it's official.
Okay. Since there's nothing public about this, can you give me some ideas about what the budget is, the amount, the increases, that sort of thing? Basic numbers?
So it's not too far different in line with last year, with the exception of this budget was put together anticipating a increase in the user rate, which is 10%. And you'll see on the revenue page anticipated increase of 10%. And that would be on page F1.
Okay, but right now I don't have anything to look at, so can you give me some numbers?
Yeah, I could also email this to you, Bill, if you want.
All right, that'd be great.
Yeah, I could also go through it with you page by page.
If you can just email me, I just need to know that the general, the 30,000 foot view right now.
Okay, I mean, that would, the best high level view would be, I'll shortcut it for you, would be the summary page, which is page, which is page 14, budget summary, 14 and 13, I'm sorry. The summary pages, it's basically our revenue page and appropriations page.
Okay, can you cut those loose and email them to me today? Tonight?
Yeah, I'll do all
Okay.
about on the meeting.
Great, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Bill, what's your email address?
editor@franklinreporter.com.
I got it.
Great, thank you. That's all I have, thanks.
Thank you.
Seeing no one else, I make a motion to close the public session.
Motion and a second,
Second.
seconded by Schmidt. Roll call, please.
Mr. Van Berenson,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes, sorry, muted.
no worries, and Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. Next, we will have a brief presentation from John Smith in regards to the upcoming auction.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Thank you for, having the time and letting me come on the board meeting to discuss, what we feel is the best option for Franklin Township Sewerage Authority going forward with their electricity budget. Back last year, you were on a contract with Constellation that ended December of 21. At that time, we advised Franklin Township Sewage Authority to go back to PSE&G and not go on a third-party energy supplier because commodity prices were too high, and we were looking at the market and PSE&G, how they buy energy every year, and they, like some of the airlines, they have future energy already purchased. And the third-party suppliers do not have as much future energy purchased, so they're buying more on the spot market. We see the spot market as being very high. So what we did, starting this year, we are sending back all our clients to the utility, and we are now running auctions for June 2023 start date. And why a June 2023 start date is because natural gas right now is dictating where electricity prices are, and natural gas has really spiked. And the future of right now, natural gas is trading on the spot market. How they measure it is an MMBT unit, and in the US right now, it's trading around $7 for the current prompt month. But if you go over to Europe or you go over to Asia, you're spending, or the prices are astronomical. I mean, they're fluctuating at $40 an MMBT unit to 60, both Asia and Europe. And so all these energy companies have been liquefying the natural gas and exporting it. We are the largest exporter of natural gas in the world right now, and we're exporting 100% of what we can export, which is not good for our supply in the USA. So depending on how things go forward, I suggest that Franklin Township Sewage Authority run an auction as soon as possible for a June 2023 start date, because we're seeing prices that are still reasonable compared to other pricing that we're seeing from other utilities and from that other utilities that buy energy more closer to the spot market. And PSE&G comes out with a new tariff rate June 2023 to June 2024, and a new tariff rate June 24 to June 25. I propose that Franklin Township Sewage Authority run an auction, lock in a contract from June 23, June of 2023 to June of 2025 for budget certainty, because I've seen prices of 16, 17, 18 cents. I see prices in New Hampshire where the utility is trying to get approved for over 40 cents a kilowatt hour. So at one time, you were on a contract for 8 cents, or a little over 8 cents, I believe, with Constellation KWH, a kilowatt hour. Those prices are gone. I do not believe that they will ever come back unless this current administration allows fracking in New York State and on federal land, and we open back coal-fired plants. Right now, natural gas generates 50% of the electricity in this grid. So that's my suggestion. And again, it's all about, we don't know where the tariff rate's going to be next year. Right now, looking at your load, you're paying probably right now around 12 cents, close to 12 cents with PSE&G. I'm guessing next year that price, if you stay with PSE&G, you don't go with a third party, could be 14 cents, 15, 16 cents. And you could lock, and then the next year after that, depending on what the rate is and where natural gas is, you know, it could be higher. So if we go out to auction, I do not, you know, you are not going to get a pretty price. You know, you might get 13 cents, 14 cents, but you're going to be locked in. You know, you're going to know you have that. I can tell you in Europe, folks have, you know, had electricity locked in at a, let's say they were paying 100 residents $100 a month in Britain or $100 a month in Germany or all these other places, and now they're paying 500, 600. I personally have clients that had, well, that's another story, but I had a very large client that had a site in Texas that was paying $20,000. I tried to lock him in, but he ended up paying $350,000 when that winter happened. So with reconciliation costs, what's going on in the future, Europe is worried about their energy prices, but they're also worried about having enough fuel and so is Asia, having enough fuel, not just natural gas, having enough fuel to generate the electricity that they can keep their plants running, that they can keep heating homes this winter. So there's a lot going on. And right now, natural gas trading at 7. Next year, starting in April, if I could share my screen, I could show you on the Henry Hub. It goes down to about, it drops $2. It drops between $2 and $3 depending on the week. So the future right now of energy, if I tried to lock you in today, you would get 2 to 3 pennies higher than if I could lock you in June of next year. Right now.
John, you could present if you want.
Excuse me?
If you want to present your screen, you can.
I tried. I can't share it.
Try it now.
What's that?
Try it now.
Okay. It's giving me a red. I normally do Teams, so I have not as familiar. I'm looking at the share, and it's blocked.
How about do you have a screen button?
The screen button. I see the bottom buttons. Is there a screen button up the top?
No, it would be on the bottom. Mic, camera, screen, leave.
Yeah, I got mic, camera, share with the screen, but the screen is X'd off. It says to share, ask organizer to make you presenter.
Oh, there you go. Try. Look at it now.
Oh, entire screen? Should I click entire screen?
It's up to you. Either that or whatever application you want.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, I could pick it. I can't tell on this one. I don't know what you're seeing right now. Here.
Yep.
You see Henry Hub? You see the Henry Hub?
Yep.
Okay, great. So Henry Hub right now, look at the fourth column. That's today's price. It was over $10. It went over $9. Actually, it hit $10, I think, twice. And in the wintertime, it's been up $9. It's come down. So that's why I'm suggesting now's the time to lock in something starting in June when the new tariff rate comes out. These prices are still $4.90, and they fluctuate. They go up to, this has gone up to over $6, and it's gone down to, I haven't seen it below like $4.50 in quite some time. So you could lock in starting then, and if you load all, you'll see prices. You're going to buy this strip. Really, these prices really affect. It's like looking at the S&P, the stock market. You're going to buy that strip going forward. And I don't know if all you're familiar with the auction. This is the auction platform, what it looks like a case. Does everybody know what the auction looks like? Should I just give you a quick overview? Or are we good?
I think having a quick overview would be great.
Okay. So this is City of Lima. There were 25 million kWh. This is 19. So in the last 2 minutes, any supplier puts an offer in, the clock goes back to 2 minutes. We're on a program in New Jersey. I provide you with a template resolution like I did before. I forget the name of the program off the top of my head. It allows you to use us as an electronic process without putting out an RFP or an RFI. Just allows you to pass the resolution and then lock in a rate. There's no obligation if you run this auction to lock in a rate. These are all the suppliers that would, these are suppliers, all the suppliers on the Board of Public Utilities. We put out the advertisement and they come on and they basically, try to beat down the price. In the last 2 minutes up here, if any supplier puts in a new offer, the clock goes back to 2 minutes. In New Jersey, you can't, with electricity, you can't lock in more than 2 years. So you can do 12, 18 months, and that's it. So here's another graph just to show you where the fuel sources in New Jersey can see. You can see that PJM is our grid. Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland, it's 9 states. The blue is natural gas. So that's almost 50% of the generation assets here. So depending on what, where pricing natural gas is depending on where pricing will go for electricity. So it's a big factor here. It's more of a factor in ISO New England. It's probably about 65%. So that would be natural gas. If you look at wholesale prices of electricity, they come down. I don't know where my screen is. There we go. As you can see, they come down. As these winter months are very high, they come down. But what we're thinking, PSE&G, JCP&L, they all go out and they buy their load. They buy their wholesale load at this point. Well, when they buy their wholesale load, we're thinking these bars are going to be higher. They're going to buy at a higher price. They're going to buy a future. They only buy 1 year strip. They're going to buy this strip. What I want you to do is buy this 2-year strip. So that's basically what we suggest. Again, it's going to be up to you. This is all about budget certainty. Where do you think prices are going to go? The market thinks, the market thinks this is where prices are. So let's see if the market's right. You want to wait and see, or, this is where prices, that natural gas will come back down. Things will be good. Everything will be rosy. Not rosy. These are still high, much higher prices than you're paying today, but not where they are here. So that's it. Any questions?
I have one question, if I may. Recently, every household received a letter from the township about a community solar organization promising 21% savings in the electric bill. Is that available to the organizations or strictly individual households?
I am not as familiar with community solar. I do know it's out there. I think you can call them, find out. I do not know, but I don't believe it's going to save you that much money. There's no 20%, especially with your load, maybe a household. Then I'm not sure. I believe it would be 20%, but I do not, I'm not a solar expert, but we do have solar experts that work with us in the organization. But
If I could just step in here, this was discussed at the Environmental Commission last night, and it's my understanding that 21%, it's 21% of a certain portion of the bill, a very small portion of the bill. It's not 21% of your whole bill.
Correct. It'd be 21% of your energy supply. So
no, it's not 20% of your electric bill. I don't know if it's it's just, when you think of, let's say you're paying, $200 a month for electricity. It's not 20% of that $200. It's 20% of a certain part of your bill, but not that full $200.
Yeah, so half the bill is what they call distribution, and the utility owns that portion of it always. So when the solar comes in, what they do, so let's say it's $200, $100 is fixed. There's no way you can lower that price because that is for the wiring, for them to, for any issues that might happen, for them to deliver the electricity. And the other portion is just a supply, meaning who puts that in, like where's the fire hose going into that grid? Is it via coal? Is it via solar? Is it via natural gas? So that's the portion that they're talking about. So yeah, so 20% of half the bill, 200. So it's only $20 off of. So it's really 10% is, in the short story. Yeah. If it was truly 20% of what they're saying, it's 10% of the bill. And again, it's not always 50-50, but let's just put that out there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Thank you, John.
You're very welcome. And so if you do want to move forward, there is a resolution. I don't know if you already have a resolution. I don't. And if you pass the resolution, you enable then to move forward with the auction. There's no obligation to move forward. The question with the auction, if you run the auction, the day of the auction, you really have to sign the contract. So you really have to have the resolution passed and somebody has authority to sign it. It has to be signed before 4 o'clock. If it's not signed, there's a 50% chance that the supplier will back out, because if the market, energy market has been so volatile, either it goes down, and if it goes down, they'll accept the price. So they're not going to lower the price. They'll accept whatever the winning price was. But if it goes up the next day, they'll tell us in the morning, and we get the contract the next day, it's no longer any good. So I just want to put that out there. All right.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for listening. Have a nice night. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right, moving to the approval of minutes, the working session monthly board meeting minutes for September 6th. Do I have a motion to move those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And a second?
I second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ann Berenson,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. Moving to approve the closed executive session minutes for the meeting on August 2nd. Do I have a motion to move those minutes?
So move.
And a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ann Berenson,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Abstain. Moving on to executive summary and professional reports from our executive director.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Under legal, we worked on a Brookline vacant lot where we did receive the title binder and recorded deed. Marcy Street, issues involving the contractor and sending them a letter, which also includes the engineering amendment of their services. The Franklin channel grinder resolution was prepared. We had some bankruptcy case where we had to file a motion to the bankruptcy court. And we also, another one that we had to file proof of claim. We had a property on Weston Road where we are investigating options regarding the non-payment / non-account of this property. The insurance broker, the 2023 agreement with BGIA. They helped paperwork regarding the public notice and the guidance regarding the rate increase, and our interaction with PSC&G as it relates to the Western Canal pump station project. They're communicating with PSC&G, and they reviewed a quote for land appraisal services, and they are currently engaging in executing that for my instructions. On the Marcy Street rehab project, that project now fell into the yellow. The project is officially delayed and will not finish this year. That is due to the very large number of deficiencies we have found and are dealing with. We are in the process with the contractor, getting the contractor who respond to those deficiencies in a formal manner with a schedule. I did ask CME to draft a letter, public notice letter that I intend to send to all the residents in that neighborhood, explaining what we were doing, what we've done, and why the delay, and the approximate completion date. The street paving will not begin this year and will probably be completed in the spring of 23. Tonight, we do have a CME agreement to be memorialized. I believe that will require a vote. East Millstone project is moving along. Recently, the engineer and electrical subcode inspector came to an agreement, and we sent a letter to the subcode inspector per his request. The high bay garage is moving along. We had our first construction meeting on September 27th. That went well. Somerset Street pump station rehab. Chairwoman, I'm going to really stress this, that New Jersey DEP is as slow as molasses in January in Maine. If there's any help you can give us, we would appreciate, because CDM and CME are experiencing much delays. You know, some of that might not be avoidable by them. There was a retirement. They are understaffed. But just notice, Somerset Pump Street rehab project and the Brookline are incredibly delayed because of NJDP. But we understand what they're probably going through as well. Regarding the Brookline project, the sister project, that's also moving along, but, you know, at a crawl. We are waiting for the DEP approval to, which is expected any day now. But tonight we're also going to vote on the amended agreement for CME regarding that project. Weston Canal Pump Station Phase 4. That's the where we want to move the pump station. The attorney is in communication with PSC&G to discuss how best to move forward relative to them giving us an official opinion of interest in selling the property, or the order of the next steps and tasks that we should be taking. And as well, as I said, I directed our attorney to engage the services of a land appraiser, which is an inevitable step that has to be done at some point. But sooner we know as an authority how much that land is worth, better we could start planning ahead. The Commerce Street Pump Station Rehab Project, CME did investigate alternative options relative to the DEP floodplain issue. The COVID-19 community sewer testing is going along nicely. As I reported last month, we did add monkeypox to the testing. However, the results of which I was sending to Mayor Kramer and Dr. Reddy, who was the Somerset County Director of Health, but she resigned and the replacement has not been announced since then. The windows and door replacement project, the final shop drawings were submitted and are being reviewed, and the contractor is currently coordinating with the suppliers for delivery dates. General engineering, CME is continuing to work on our rules, rates, and regulations to be updated in the near future, and they are working very closely with me with the New Brunswick issue. Under our operations, everything is as to be expected. There's nothing remarkable that needs to be noted at the meeting tonight. And that would conclude my project summary and professional status report. Chairwoman, would you like me to go into the executive director's report?
Yes, please.
Can I ask a question, please? Um, I think you may have mentioned this at our last meeting, but I'm not sure what the answer was about why we can't screen for polio also in the, like we are for the monkeypox.
So we could not find any vendor that did all three. We tried. We could only find a vendor that did monkeypox and COVID.
Okay, so there was nobody that would do COVID and polio and leave out the monkeypox. You had to choose, or polio was just out.
It was just out.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, my revenue report, the checks received this month were $767,005.56. Year-to-date collected was $3,936,357.28. Penalties collected are $13,334.42, which is average. The expenditures for the month were $397,637.92. Year to date, and we're at the 25% mark of the year, is $2,855,601.58. So we're at 25% of our expenditures that we budgeted for, and we're exactly at 25% of the year. Cash position, under the unrestricted, we have $2,056,906.37. Under restricted, we have $12,370,271.62. Under designated, we have $3,674,570.47. That's a total cash position of $18,101,748.46. Discussion items of budget. As I alluded to earlier, we are awaiting the final certification from the state auditor with his signature. The user rate increase proposal tonight. Again, the two major considerations is cash on hand, which is unrestricted cash or designated cash for projects. That also is relative to inflation and supply chain and labor availability versus our bonding that we have at the time. So how much cash we have on versus the cost of projects and how much loan payments we have to make each year. The second category consideration, again, is our bond covenants, which at a minimum require 110% formula for the Moody's rating call to obtain the bonds, which is good for 3 years. And we could obtain that covenant standard within that 3 years. So basically we have 2 years to reach that period, which is why I elected not to recommend an increase of 13% all at once. The audit, our 2022 process is in process and it's continuing. Land acquisition for a vacant lot on Brookline, we did receive the final document, so I will be removing that project from the board. PSC and G project, we are formally in the process of appraising the land. We did get a railroad easement bill this year. Normally you'll see a 2 to 5% increase in the rental, and this is all arbitrary if you ask me, but this year we got a whopping 10%. It's the largest percentage and largest dollar amount that I've seen as far as the years back that I've looked. So I sent this issue to the attorney, asking the attorney looking for options that we could review and discuss. Possibly we do something different than crossing over their land, or we just buy their lot. I believe we have an option to buy the lot or purchase a permanent easement. So that'll be something developing as a project. You'll see that added to the board. American Water, I will report that something that probably should have been done by the town years ago, but American Water did cut us a approximately $55,000 check. I was proud to have it in my hand. I took a selfie with it, and all I had to do was ask, and they gave me the money. Internal engineering, we had 0 new connections for the month, but we did have the technical review committee reviews. There were 6 projects that are included, and I have verified that the MCUA monthly report was submitted. Under staffing, Chairwoman, we did hold a personnel committee this week. That went well, and I was given direction by that committee, which I will follow. We do have outstanding the executive director's annual performance review, which is pending. I think you mentioned you will go into executive session tonight.
Correct.
I will have you know that we are in the process of scheduling and interviewing for the positions of foreman, maintenance tech, or maintenance technician, a part-time inspector, and a receptionist. There's lots going on there. The New Brunswick water sewer bill. So the New Brunswick agreement is settled. Thank God, everybody, for years. I think that's a 5-year process. But now we're going through the process of doing reconciliation for the last 2 years. And that required me to somewhat review our billing for the last 4 years. And I just sent this evening, about 5:30, an email to them with my numbers that I think we owe them, and let's see where that goes. That's another process. We're within $80,000 agreement, so the numbers are getting closer. Somerset County grants. The Somerset County Business Administrator asked me to resend my application. Maybe they lost it. I don't know. I resent it today. Tonight, we'll be voting on the GIF broker, which is BGIA, for their agreement for the next year. For the knowledge of the members of the board, tonight's standard resolutions will include payroll account, operations expense account, the general fund, renewal replacement, and escrow. There is no resolution for the North Track, but these are normal, customary, reoccurring monthly resolutions. Under the additional resolutions, we have the Marcy Street engineering agreement amendment. We have the risk management with BGIA, mentioned already. We have a bid award memorialized for the Franklin grinder. And we have an amended resolution, amended resolution relative to 17 Schoolhouse Road account number. And I believe all that resolution is doing is changing the account number. I do anticipate an executive session tonight. That executive session will be entirely discussing and only discussing personnel matters. And that concludes my executive director's report. If you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
One more thing, Chairwoman. Just want to let the board know, and April, I haven't mentioned anyone. I may be required to almost spontaneously leave the state in the next week or two. My brother's passing, as I understand it, is imminent, so I may have to be going down to Georgia at any day now.
Understood. Apologies, and praying for you and your family during this time.
Thank you.
Any questions on the summary or professional reports? With that, I will be moving on to the committee reports. Negotiations and personnel. Is there anything to report at this time?
Chairman, as the executive director reported, we did have a meeting last week, and we discussed and gave some direction, suggestions to I guess, finalize the annual increases.
Thank you. Municipal liaison, is there anything to report at this time?
Nothing to report, Chairman.
Thank you. Construction committee, is there anything to report?
No.
Okay. And safety, Scott, 0 accidents for this month?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Accidents are never approved.
Right, no. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. All items that are listed are considered to be of routine nature, thereby requiring one motion and 1 second. Well, we all knew that. If any member wishes to remove an item from the consent agenda, please advise me at this time which resolutions need to be handled separately, and they will be addressed and voted on separately. First resolution is the payroll account, which is $137,415.39. The operating expense account of $188,239.29. Third resolution, the general fund expense account, $3,711.25. Renewal and replacement, $235,840.15. The escrow fund account, $25,745. With that, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion in, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. N. Barronson,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. Moving on to additional resolutions. This next resolution authorizes the executive director to execute an amendment to the engineering services agreement with CME Associates for construction phase services for the sanitary sewer rehabilitation project, Marcy Street. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Ford.
Second, Schmidt.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. N. Barronson,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. This next resolution authorizes the execution of an agreement with Business and Governmental Insurance Agency for professional risk management consulting services. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
And a second?
Second, Ford.
Roll call, please.
Mr. N. Barronson,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. This next resolution is the correction to account number on the original resolution. So this resolution removes account 0999999.0 located at 17 Schoolhouse Road, block 517.05, lot 3511 is removed from the building with an adjustment of $17,674.80 in principal, and this address was kept. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. N. Barronson,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. The final resolution memorializes the award of a contract to Franklin Miller, Inc. for the purchase of a Taskmaster grinder model. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. N. Barronson,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. With that, do I have a motion to open into executive session?
Chairwoman, do we need to do anything regarding that rate increase, that resolution? We're going to memorialize it at the next meeting, but we'll talk about it tonight and vote.
Yeah, we need to.
I think you're going to vote tonight on the increase.
Yes.
Okay. So the next resolution that we'll vote on is memorializing the rate increase, which will be further discussed, but will take place in November, correct?
We don't have a resolution to memorialize. You're voting on the rate increase. Next month, we'll have the resolution ready, which memorializes it.
Got it. Okay. With that, do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ann Berenson,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and then Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes.
Okay, and the only other one that I had notation on was the situation regarding EMEX. Is that something that you want to vote on now, or do you want to go into talk about it in executive session and then do a vote during that time, or when we come out?
We can discuss during executive session.
Yeah, because he said he would need a resolution, so we would be able to memorialize that next month too if the board decides to go that direction.
Okay.
What was that
notes I had.
for? April, what was that for?
That was for EMEX for the utility auction.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, he said that we would have to have a resolution.
We've done this in the past.
Yes.
Okay.
Works out well.
Okay.
All right.
Those are the only notes I had for the additional resolutions.
Okay. So we'll discuss that in executive session along with additional personnel matters. With that, sorry, Commissioner Schmidt, did you want to say something or?
I did not.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I saw your thing light up. No problem. No. With that, do I have a motion to open executive session?
Motion.
Excuse me, second Chairwoman.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Thanks, Scott.
Joe, we're going to discuss the crane truck you had talked about.
We don't have to, but I will just mention it to the board. You know, as you understand, supply chain and labor and inflation are racking up costs. So we had budgeted $150,000 for a crane truck that needs to be replaced. It's in our budget, it's part of the capital program, but the state contract amount probably is going to be closer to $200,000. So I think it's within my authority to still get it, regardless of the cost, but if the board should want to act otherwise. But if I hear no objection, I'm going to continue with the purchase, albeit as more money. But it's a vehicle we need to have.
Okay. Are there any questions with that? Any objections to moving forward with the purchase?
Brian, you may want to comment. I don't think it requires a board vote. We budgeted 150,000. Say it goes to 200,000. It is on state contract. Does the board need to approve that?
No, it's under state contract. I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam Chairwoman, if I could just, I don't want to throw a wet towel on this, but we're going to executive session to discuss personnel matters, and then we also talked about the bid auction. I'm not sure that the bid auction is something that we can discuss in executive session. I don't know what I don't think it falls under any of the exceptions. Unless there is some budgetary reason to do so, I think it should be discussed in open session.
Okay. Okay, we can discuss that in now. Do the commissioners have any thoughts on that? Joe, you had mentioned that we've done this before previously.
Yeah, it's basically very similar to a public bid. They're going to put it up on a web platform, and people are going to bid on our offer to provide us energy. And there are a lot of measures that they have in there to protect us, and they do it all. So they put up for auction, or another word, they put up for bid. People submit their bids, the auction closes, and we select the best one.
Do any of the other commissioners have any thoughts on this? Okay. Seeing there are none, I don't have a problem with moving forward with this. So will we need a resolution tonight?
I think you
No,
can
you
just
need
do a vote.
Or just,
a vote, and then
We need a
can
vote.
ask for the
okay.
resolution.
Okay, with that, do I have a motion for, I'm assuming our executive director and Dr. Roach will execute that. So do I have a motion for them to move forward?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ann Berenson,
Yes.
Ms. Ford,
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
and Chairwoman DeVoe.
Yes. Any other matters? Any other items? No? Okay. Now, do I have a motion to open for executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Okay. I have 7:34 to go into executive session.
And we should note I guess no board action will be taken after executive session. Brian, is that true or no?
It depends on the nature of the executive session and the discussion, but I think that we should note that board action may be taken
Okay.
once we get out of executive session, and that also we are entering into executive session for purposes of discussing personnel matters strictly.
Okay.
Is everybody that's on this call right now supposed to be still on?
No, April, the engineers, and Scott will be coming off the meeting.
Okay.
Good night.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Right.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.
Right.
Joe, do you want me to leave, or am I coming back in after?
No, you can leave.
I can go. Thank you. And I'm not recording, but you can cut yours down.
Yeah.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Do I have a motion? Oh, so it's 7:52. Do I have a motion to close executive session?
A
So
motion to
Motion.
close. I'll second.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? So actions from our discussion, Brian?
Yes, so you have before you a motion to increase the executive director's salary by 3.5%, along with the possible additional discretionary increase, which would be in the form of a dollar amount as opposed to a percentage, to be determined by the board after a recommendation by the board chair as to same.
with that, do I have a motion?
I just want to clarify, and this is a one-time discretionary increase that the board approved in the previous meeting, correct, Chairwoman?
Correct.
Not to exceed the 6%.
Correct.
Overall.
Correct.
And with that, do I have a motion?
This is a motion to
approve the 3.5 increase. I will come back to the board with the recommended additional amount that will not exceed above the 6%, and this is a one-time only.
I'll make that motion to approve that.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call. So that roll call. So Alcazar is not present. And Barrison?
Yes.
Commissioner Ford?
Yes.
Commissioner Francois is not present. Commissioner Schmidt?
Yes.
And I approve as well. Yes.
Do we have a quorum for that?
Yes.
You have Ford, Schmidt, the chair. And,
yeah, I wasn't sure what a quorum was.
Yes, 4.
Quorum is 4?
You do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another reason I stayed, Arnie.
Appreciate that, Rom.
Yes, thank you. And with that, do I have a motion to close today's meeting?
I'll definitely make that motion.
Second.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Closing the meeting at 7:56.